Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today I, Banker, I'll be joined once again by Jimmy, Jake, and like always, Fluff.
Sir.
What's going on, y'all?
What's up, beautiful people?
And today, like always, we have a matchup for you all. Today's matchup is Zamasu versus Golden Frieza. Fluff versus Jake. Keep in mind, there's button symbol. Feel free to cook them. But let's get on with the game.
So, I hadn't played against Zamasu in a while, so I wasn't really sure what to expect going into this matchup. So I really just thought I'd stick to my game plan and hope that would see me through.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a solid strategy, especially, and I didn't know what you were up to. Like, the last time I played against Golden Frieza was ages ago, well before the most recent Golden Frieza support in, what was that, set 12?
Yeah, and then there was a little bit in the anniversary box as well.
Yeah, so it had just been a while, so I didn't know what to expect coming from you here. On the Zamasu list, though, my basic thought was how do I make a deck that's interesting without being something that we've seen on the channel before? So I know we've seen Zamasu on the channel, but I wanted to just turn this into a how can I have fun with just a leader card? And so that was kind of the thought here, is while I do play a couple of other things, I really wanted to just play around the idea of what this leader can do.
Yeah, and it was really interesting what you were able to pull off with this Zamasu list. Like you said, we've seen it before, but it felt a little bit fresh here, and maybe it's because you just played it a different way than I had seen it played before.
Yeah, I really feel like the Zamasu list that we had seen before was just good blue stuff mixed with the Zamasu leader. Like, I think it had Bojack Crew or Bojack Brigade, and then just good blue staples. And while I am running good blue staples in this, it's by no means the focus of.
Fluff just got banished to the Shadow Realm.
No, sorry.
Oh, there he is.
No, we're good.
I thought he just got fucking Hakai'd out of here, dude. Damn.
No.
But Jake, to talk a little bit about Frieza. Frieza is like my favorite type of deck where it's just an amalgamation. It's a buildup of like so many cards that just barely fit into an archetype, and it just makes into like a beautiful symphony where 90% of the text on the cards that you're playing early game mean nothing.
Yeah,
and it's just pure advantage cards, and you use them as replacing itself in the hand or blowing up with your Frieza leader. Like, it's just I love this package so much.
Basically, it just lets you cycle through and rip through your deck pretty quickly. And like you said, since they all replace themselves, and then on the backside, they net you more energy with your leader effect than they cost to cast.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it just creates a situation where you have like Aegis on your turn.
Yeah.
And kind of lets you play... make some plays in yellow that you wouldn't be able to play outside of this Frieza leader.
Yeah, I was chuckling the entire time because I was like, what does that do? And Jake was like, it draws a card. I was like, but there's a wall of text there. He's like, yeah, it doesn't work with this leader. And so, like, it was, but, like, I loved the whole, like, one-drop spam, energy manipulation, massive draws. I'm taking it back half a second to the last Zamasu turn. Had I seen a one-drop Zamasu, I would have been able to awaken, but I didn't see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and speaking of awakening, I had actually forgotten about your alternate awakening condition. So my game plan going into this was just like, I'm just going to try and starve him out, because early game I had more cards in hand than you did. Mm-hmm. And I felt confident that I was going to be able to keep that lead, but you were able to provide enough aggro here, and it's able to surprise me with Awakening, and really cut down on my hand size, which made me nervous going into the mid game.
You'll see here, I'm awakened now, but I kind of make a mistake here where I'm going to focus on your unison and try to get that out of the way, because that unison could potentially become problematic later on in the game. So I want to blow it out of the water now. And had I thought about it, I would have just ran into it with Murichim on this second swing instead of wasting multiple leader swings on it. Like, that would have probably served me better long term than how I opted to take care of it.
That Chunks Unison is a really odd card to play around, because if they leave it on board, it almost, you read it as a red herring, because they could just slam it swing twice and then -3 on it to blow out your field if you already have a field established. But then when Jake's really good about leaving it up and letting you sink attacks into it, and that's less attacks he's worrying about at his leader. And if you know me, I love my red herring cards, so I respect the play.
Yeah, sometimes the threat of activating an effect is better than activating the effect itself.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I wanted to get that done, and I could have swung with the Murichim again, but me putting the Murichim in rest mode basically just gives you a target to sink your attacks into. And I haven't seen you doing any self-awakening, so I wasn't sure if you even could self-awaken in this deck. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to put you at 4. I'm just going to kind of wait until I'm ready to push on you. I'm going to let you resource out a little bit if I can. The danger here is letting you get into that 5 energy range where you're going to be able to drop your Divine Transformation Freezes if you play them. That Goku, the Spirit, or the Dragon Fist Goku becomes easier to play, and you basically just become a larger threat the longer the game goes on.
Yeah, that's really the kind of the secret sauce to beating this Golden Frieza deck, is trying to starve it out at 5 life. There are ways to self-awaken, because that is such a weakness, but if you don't see them, you don't see them, you know? And your opponent can kind of force you to take a bad awaken, or starve you out on cards until they're ready to kill you, which seems like is your plan here.
Yeah. One of the cards that I'm using in this list that I would have liked to have seen at multiple points, and also right there, that felt really bad. Throwing my ape down to stop the blocker from coming in, but then you hitting my basically my second secret rare with your secret rare.
Yeah. You just play the 1 ape?
I just play 1. Because this deck isn't really designed to ramp, and honestly, most of the time I'm sitting around 3 or 4 energy, especially if I lose the Zeno Unison. Because the deck will charge, and then it usually burns its charge to get its dual attack swing twice effect. Or like in this instance, I think I end up using it to bottom deck your Super 17. And just kind of punish that card being on the field, but at the same time, I don't get the draw off the ape. I tapped myself out for the ape, but I'm also sitting at 7 life on turn 4 right now.
What I was worried about was having spent my only free negate for the turn, and that ape having triple strike. Your hand size was large enough, and with 30k power, I was worried about being able to survive. So I felt like I had to use the 17 there. But maybe I should have used it earlier in the game on the Murichim, and I wouldn't be in this position in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have killed the Murichim, but it would have kept it from double strike dual attacking me, and then my hand size would have been bigger going into that turn. Who knows?
Murichim puts in a ton of work in the yellow matchup, and it's just unfortunate that I drew the Murichim against you, because I only run it at a 1 of.
Like wow.
This isn't something that I want to, focus on as one of the, Murichim and Zamasu has been proven time and time again to be a really punishing duo, because of the barrier on Murray-Chem. So yellow can't respond. As long as you swing with your leader first, your yellow leader can't respond with like a Sacred Disbelief Zamasu to tap one or the other.
Yeah.
And just the blue player gets all the value out of all those swings against yellow most of the time.
And here I'm just pretty frazzled at this point coming out of that turn. I don't really know how I'm going to stabilize at this point because of all the dual attacking coming my way. And I don't actually main Nimbus or anything in this list, so my floodgates are pretty much limited to Robotic Riposte, which with your blue Unison on the field is not going to get me very far because it's just going to get God Sealed as soon as you see it.
Yeah.
And
I was playing around Zamasu Sacred Disbelief more than Nimbus. So, like, if I don't play around the idea of... If I'm playing around Nimbus, my leader is highly susceptible to being tapped. And the leader is the value in this deck. I don't care if anything happens to that Murray-Chem. What I want is to be able to keep the leader up and going. Because I'm running stuff like Encouraging Presence, Manakas. I'm running the Ultra Instinct Kamehamehas. I'm running Champas to give it double strike if I don't see the Encouraging Manakas. And I would like to find room to put in the crit Friezas in here. To be able to give the leader crit if I'm able to put a double strike with like a Ultra Instinct Kamehameha and a crit on top of it. Just give it every battle keyword skill possible.
yeah.
So, Zamasu being a fairly energy efficient deck, and also having the Zeno Unison, did you feel that having your 2 energy tapped down by Golden Frieza was all that painful? Like, I mean, of course, having 6 energy on this turn would be amazing, but you're still at 4 energy if you plus on Zeno.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I really like about this deck is it doesn't really play like other blue decks, where it's not really trying to tap 5 or 6 energy a turn to do something. You can use a lot of your turns to do other things. So having 2 energy tapped down is not the absolute worst because I'm not afraid of dying, really. I have free negates in my hand, like I have Dimension Magics. I think I even have Baby Hatch in hand if I get really pressured. So the only thing that I'm super worried about is Cooler at that point, but I also have a high combo potential in my hand. So I'm not particularly threatened by being tapped out. So getting the 2 energy tapped and locked down isn't the worst thing in the world in this list. I think had it been another typical blue list, it would have really sucked. But in this list, it didn't bother me much. And here, playing around the Frieza Robotic Riposte, I had a God Sealing Technique Trunks in hand, but I'm trying to hold that for something that's going to threaten the game. Because I do only run 3, so I don't want to waste it on something like a Frieza. I would much rather let it go back to you and then just hold that for something that's going to become threatening later.
Yeah, the fact that I spent my early turns not pressuring your life at all is letting you basically Dimension Magic for free. You can tap out pretty safely even with this Golden Frieza on the table. It's just a lot of little mistakes early on adding up for me here, and I'm not really sure how to get out of it. So I think, yeah, here I'm just going to try and keep pressuring with Battle.
I know what you do here, and I think this was a super smart move because it creates a ton of problems for me as far as like how do I defend myself? Because you see, I just went to 4 there, so now it's like, okay, what do I do? You put a second Frieza out, like this is so punishing. Because if I negate, I basically keep, 4 of my cards tapped down?
Right.
And I was like, don't those have unique? And you're like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, this is silly.
It's deflect, double strike, blocker, but no unique.
Yeah. And then can't be removed by skills. So I've got a loaded Zeno on the field that now basically just doesn't do anything. So here I just do what I can. I'm going to Zeno, pick up an energy, which happens to be a Sensu Bean. I'm going to charge something else into my energy. And I'm basically just going to hang on. Because you're going to, and then also moving into your next turn, you're going to have a Frieza that is going to restand for blocker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, one of them will restand.
Right, the one will restand. And I did lose the one token. I'm glad that I didn't tap the other tokens in the last turn because I thought about it. But I still have the value of a Boonie on the field, even after you played the Frieza, because I decided not to overextend in the turn that Robotic Riposte hit the field.
So, Jake, a little side thing that I've been thinking about a lot, and I don't see a lot of people talking about it. Robotic Riposte also has the activate main, correct me if I'm wrong, is tap 2 energy and play a Mecha Frieza on top of him.
Yes.
Have you considered running any of the old Mecha Frieza support to get utilization of that tap 2?
So actually, I play Clan of Terror in my sideboard, and if this was a best of 3 event, I feel like those absolutely come in, because you just look for your opponent's secret rares or what have you, and force your opponent to play them in rest mode, and then you have tons of ways of removing rest mode battle cards in this list.
That is exactly the card I was thinking. Like,
yeah,
I think that card is gross.
It's really strong against blue, but a lot of against red starter Vegeta or something like Cell Surge, it's just pretty useless. So they kind of sit in the sideboard and come in against these slower blue decks.
Blue as a color likes to really keep things. They keep their hand at their cuff. They keep the cards that they really are going to need later. They keep that close to their chest. And being able to Clan a Terror out is big. I do want to say here, I used the Bardock as a combo to restand my leader. And I didn't do the Spirit Boost 2 on the Zeno. But you'll see that doesn't matter. Because I'm not going to activate the Zeno's -5 at any point in this game because it doesn't do anything for me except I lose my field.
It matters greatly to me, and the one person in the comments that is still going to.
And actually, I think Jake just adjusted my dice down for it.
No, I remember this. I forgot about this. I was trying to adjust the dice for you for the Spirit Boost. You're like, no, I already did it. And I'm like, what do you mean you did it?
Because I completely forgot that I had Spirit Boost on it. Just forgot.
Yeah, I just assumed that I just blinked and missed you actually taking the dice off of there.
Jake hit a negate out of his life, which made this turn a lot easier for me to get through. So I just swing Zeno and combo out the world.
Yeah. I knew you had another. You could potentially Spirit Boost again, so I felt like I had to negate there to keep that from being a possibility, and just hope you didn't have another battle card you could play for 3 or less energy, because a lot of the stuff in that deck is pretty expensive. But the amount of times I've died to somebody playing that Cosmic Trader Zamasu and comboing out their hand is more than I care to admit.
It just shows that, but against Yellow doesn't have a huge punish for 1-drop spam. It's probably the thing that really hurts Yellow. I mean, Green can blow them out with any of their negates. Red can neg them out by any of their negates. Blue can bounce them back to the hand or whatever needs to happen. Or Sensu Bean usually is enough to take care of it. But Yellow doesn't have a great way of handling a card that costs you 1 energy that could threaten the leader. I think that's why Bardock Crew has such a good game against Yellow leaders.
Oh, for sure.
And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind, while Fluff does the outro, there's buttons down below and on the screen.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. We've kind of been hearing the stuff that you guys have been suggesting. Going to start implementing it a little bit more on the channel. But thank you so much for your feedback. Let us know below what you guys think, something that you'd like to see. As always, read your cards, know your plays. Let us make the mistakes so that you don't have to. And as always, Fluff out.